damals durchsetzen. Ein ehemaliger Top-10-Spieler, der in der Weltrangliste so ein bisschen nach unten gerutscht ist, ist die aktuelle Nummer 31 und er ist nicht unbedingt bekannt für seinen wahnsinnig schnellen Wurfrhythmus, aber ein richtig feiner Kerl. Herzlich willkommen hier in Leverkusen, The Force, Justin Pipe!
Penultimate match of the afternoon session here in Leverkusen, and it features a European Tour champion. Justin Pipe was the winner of the Austrian Darts Open 6 years ago now. A two-time finalist as well in the German Darts Championship in 2014 and the Dutch Masters a year later. He is something of, well, not quite an ever-present on the European Tour, but he's played in more European Tour events than he hasn't, and he's certainly a very welcome fixture as well. Came through Brendan Dolan and Richie Burnett in qualifying. Disappointing time of it last year on the European Tour, though, you have to say. Qualified for 7 events of the 12, but was eliminated in the first round in 6 of them. So just the one win on the European circuit in 2017, something you feel he has to address sooner or later. Up against Michael Rasztovits from Austria, came through qualifying last night. Paul Nicholson alongside me once again for this one.
I'm just going to call him Mr. On the back of his shirt, it's got MR.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll just call him Mr.
I see where you're going with this.
So Mr. I wonder if he's got... What was the song that they sang?
Broken Wings?
Broken Wings. I hope he hasn't got broken wings. Very smooth action.
We've had Broken Wings, Boys from the Black Stuff. It's like the 80s revisited here now.
Isn't that just a regulation day on the European Tour?
Well, it is actually, yeah.
It will be tomorrow. And there's a lot more people in here singing 80s songs. Join us for that, but there's lots more to come before that.
Ladies and gentlemen, first leg, Michael to throw first. Game on.
And Michael's won the ball. That's a good start. Very smooth action of Mr. Rasztovits.
Pipe, though, the point I was trying to make is that he's clearly a player who almost embodies the European Tour. He's been here from the word go with the European Tour. He's been heavily involved. He's gone deep in tournaments. He's won one of them as well, so he's on that European Tour roll of honour. And it's clearly a big part of his season. Not just a European Tour stalwart, but a PDC stalwart. He's won quite a few Pro Tour events. I remember his first one back in Dublin. He beat Phil Taylor in the final, and that was some announcement. The way he played at the back end of 2011, I'll never forget it. Because between that win in Dublin and the end of the year, he played sensationally well. There were 3 or 4 brilliant dart players. Well, actually, one of them, I suppose I could have included myself, but I'm not going to do that. But the way that Gary Anderson and Justin Pipe were playing at the back end of 2011, for me, they were the 2 best players in the world right then.
68.
Maybe Justin has regressed in form a little bit since then, but he's still so dangerous. Has the ability to put those darts so close together with that reverse stacking method. And he'll see this as the real first test of his season to try and gain some massive momentum going into the spring.
$137.
Well, he's clocked off the 37 and down to 200, trimmed it off very nicely indeed with those 2 trebles.
59.
Well, last night, Rasztovits in qualifying, he came through Jeffrey Bekema, 6-1. Jose Justicia Perales of Spain, 6-5. 6-3 win against Michael Ploy. A fair bit about that guy from the Netherlands. He can definitely play it. So that's a great win for Michael Rasztovits. This is a very good visit.
180. Justin, you requires.
Yeah, just something for Pipe to think about here with Rasztovits down to 30. Pipe on 60. 2 darts in hand for tops for the early break, and he only needs one of them. Justin Pipe. Good start for the 46-year-old from Somerset.
Game
Like I
on.
said, qualified for 7 European Tour events last year, eliminated in the first round in all bar one of them. The only match he won, fairly ironically I suppose, given the year his opponents had, was Krzysztof Ratajski in Hamburg when Pipe played. I remember this. Pipe played really well that day, averaged 98.5 or so. Just looked good, and you know, in Ratajski was just showing signs of what he was about at that stage of the season. And that was the only match that Pipe won on the European Tour last year. Fairly lucrative couple of months at the end of last year as well. He reached the semi-finals of the Players' Championship finals. Beat Mark Webster, Ron Moulenkamp, Willie O'Connor and Daryl Gurney, but then lost to Van Gerwen 11-3. Made the second round of the World Championship as well.
140.
Qualified for the World Match Play. Just.
It's one thing Justin's done very well through his career, that when he's had to do something to get into a tournament, he's able to play well in a final weekend, a deadline kind of player. He's done that for years.
85.
Yeah, it was in, I think it was the 15th Players' Championship in July. And he made the semi-finals there, and it was that effectively secured his place in Blackpool at the expense of the likes of Chris Dobie and Johnny Clayton as well. So timing it to perfection, and he's done that, as you say, he's got previous with that as well.
You could see he's a bit of a heartbreaker because he likes to take over people in the rankings at the very last minute, but isn't that the job of a dart player?
Yeah.
You find an opportunity and you take it, and he's been taking opportunities for quite some time now.
Well, the thing is, I mean, he's been putting himself in position to do so. I mean, it's all well and good saying, oh, he only nicked it on the final day, but the fact is he'd done enough, more than enough, to get himself in that position in the first place.
Yeah. As a distance runner, he's just a really good sprinter in the last 100 metres.
Absolutely.
95 for Pipe. That leaves double 19. I'm not sure about the lie of that dart. It might be covering the double. So he's choosing to go for the 6. Very smart, because he does like double 16.
63.
It's only just to the left, but nothing to worry about.
Now, he will be back.
Rasztovits hasn't really found his range on that 60 too much, and that is agonizingly close to a 100 there, but you've got to think that Pipe will probably clean this one up.
Yeah, it shouldn't make too much difference. Pipe won't want to mess about too much longer, though, on double 16.
He says get up to the dart.
16.
Too much up.
Michael will require 100.
Bit like a golfer talking to the ball in the air. He was talking to that last dart before he threw it. But he will come back for double 8 this time.
59.
Doesn't want to miss too many, like you say, Rob, because it starts to get a little bit in that mind of yours. Can't afford to miss too much. Now he's got to switch all the way to the other side of the board for double 4.
Well, it could be a 21 dart leg for Justin Pipe. He won't mind if it is.
Sean the
And it is a
second
21 dart leg for
Justin
Justin Pipe. He
Pipe.
holds
Third leg,
for a
Michael
2-0 lead,
Wilson.
consolidating that early break, but not too convincing, you have to say, on the finishing.
Well, he's thinking a lot about the double 16 and the double 8. And when he missed the double 4, you could see in his face that he just thought, just go for it. Just be natural. And it was a lot quicker of a dart. He threw it and it went in there. It was a really good shot. Rasztovits, 2 legs behind now. Got to find something soon or Pipe could run away with this.
It's been some time since we've seen Rasztovits on the European Tour. I think, in fact, it was a year ago in Hildesheim, this corresponding weekend,
22.
when he lost in the first round to Mervyn King. Qualified for a couple of events in 2016 as well. Once again, he failed at qualifying school earlier this year. He keeps on knocking on the door, but never quite gets there.
92.
It's a tough school. I saw Michael at Ali Pali, just having a chat with him about the upcoming 12 months, and he said, I'm going to give it a proper go in 2018. Going to get my card. I'm going to do everything I possibly can. Unfortunately for him, he didn't get his card, but even when he don't, there are other opportunities like Challenge Tour. You can still try and qualify for some of these European Tour events as well, and he's managed to get here, so we've got to give him credit for that.
Michael will require
Still a very, very dangerous
158.
player. It's just another example as well of the growing nature of steel-tipped darts in Austria, which is really starting to take hold. I was over in a place called Marchtrenk at the beginning of February, just looking at some of the young talent coming through there. And there are some good players coming through in the teens and the early 20s in Austria. Ones to watch out for. As the established guys get better as well, Michael's got 95 left. That leaves double 19. And that's a nice little clean finish. Bad first start, he'll admit. That was a really good fix. He halves the deficit. Pipe 2-1 to the good.
Do you think that's the Suljovic factor then with Austria?
Yes, I really do. Because before Mensa Suljovic, obviously, we had Dietmar Berger, who was probably their top guy. And with all due respect to Dietmar, a lot of the guys on the tour were beating him quite comfortably. So they needed someone who was going to cause trouble. And obviously with Roby John Rodriguez and his brother Roxy and his brother Rusty coming through now is sensational as well. The Mensa factor in Austria is really starting to take hold. Young kids that I've met, young girls as well, who are starting to play steel-tip darts as opposed to electronic darts in Austria. There's a different culture starting to happen, and players like Michael Rasztovits are getting confidence from watching Mensa Suljovic, especially when he won the Champions League in Cardiff back in September. So there's definitely a revolution of steel-tip happening in Austria right now.
Zoran Lerchbacher all part of that as well.
Isn't he playing well the last 12 months?
He's done exceptionally well. And we've got Mike Langendorf on the way. Now, I know Langendorf was born in Germany, and he came through the German qualifiers last night, but he has played for Austria in the World Cup, hasn't he? So
he has.
Not quite sure where we would bracket him right now, but anyway.
There's a few guys like that in the circuit. You don't know where to bracket them.
I wouldn't bracket him as an up-and-coming thing, though. He's 46 years old, but you get my point. He's got some connection to Austria.
He's rather good at darts, we know that. And we will be seeing him next against Big Hendo. Good first start from Michael. That's the one he's got to build on. Really good adjustment. After the second dart, he'll want to forget. 6 darts from 148 for Pipe, though. That's comfortable stuff. Just looking to sneak it to the right there. Perfectly done. Another one of those will leave double 4.
Well,
looking at the way his darts land, that is a worldy 140. It really is.
100. Justin, you require 8.
Couldn't hit double 4 a couple of legs ago. He's pulled it again. Will double 2 be as kind? The answer is no. Double 1 needed. It's not there, so 1 of 4 to steal.
Michael, you require
biggest visit of the match for Rasztovits.
Chance to break back here. Awkward. 89 remaining, as you can probably hear from Russ Bray. And that leaves 70, so Pipe
44.
Back in the frame here. But this is very, very dicey indeed for Pipe, looking at double 1.
Score.
It was always going to be difficult after that first start.
Requires 60.
But without hesitation, Michael Rasztovits is right at the hockey. No adjustment. Double 10.
40.
Really should have gone either left or right there because the double top was shielded. But now, what does Pipe have in the locker to get rid of leg number 4? Will he be 3-1 in front? Left or right? Left. Oh, that's a good free kick around the wall, that is. What a dart that was.
Yeah, just a look of frustration on the face of Michael Rasztovits now. He knows that one has got away from him. He has a really good chance to get back on terms, but instead it's Pipe who leads by 3 legs to 1. Ian White faces the winner of this match in round 2 tomorrow. Langendorf Henderson to come next for the right to meet Kyle Anderson.
Obviously last night there were 2 qualifiers for Michael Rasztovits to play in. You do have to ask yourself, because Justin Pipe qualified for this event about 6 weeks ago. He'll have flown in yesterday, had a good night's sleep. He'll be fresh for today, but you wouldn't blame Michael Rasztovits for maybe being a tiny bit jaded after playing 2 qualifiers last night.
Yeah, so they were playing for the qualifiers for the next tournaments as well. So That was the problem for Rasztovits. Hard work on the eve of the tournament itself. Like you say, the UK qualifiers were at the start of February, but Rasztovits showing signs of life here.
On the flip side of that, it's really good practice to play on the stage on a Friday.
Well, that's it. I mean, you probably would have been spending the time practicing anyway, so why not do it in a competitive match environment? So it can work both ways. That's it, if you get knocked out, it can leave you a bit demoralised and picking up the pieces.
Staying downstairs now, Michael, and a beautiful switch.
36.
Needs to win this leg to keep himself in touch with Pipe. But that 82 is going to be under pressure now, I feel.
Oh, certainly will be.
61 remain. Trouble 16, perhaps? Wow, great darts from Pipe.
160.
Look at that stare. 74 now. Went for the 25. And now Pipe, by virtue of that 165, should be 4-1 up.
Justin, you require 16.
Won't want to mess about too much on the doubles here and end up in the madhouse like last time, but looking at double eight here, more like it, much more like it than Justin Pipe. That was a very, very accomplished start, looked very confident as he lined that one up.
Justin to throw first.
And having had that wobble, he's back in the business here.
Well, the 4 darts that he had there to finish that leg, they were just perfect. Exactly what you need in a game situation where your opponent's trying to come back at you
85.
and you reel off the 4 best darts you've thrown in this match.
The 165 setting up that double eight opportunity. Surprised perhaps that Pipe didn't really carry on where he left off there. Often you see that. But Rasztovits just 34 points with his visit there.
140.
A lot of people asking me about the pace of play of Justin. And I know from my own experience that he's a lot faster now than he used to be.
53.
Back in 2009, I remember playing him in the summer then and thinking the game was never going to end. But these days, you can notice that he doesn't stop the arm at all. He used to stop the arm and actually had a stress fracture in his leg last year, which was made it very, very uncomfortable, but he's ridden that storm.
Yeah, clearly looks after himself as well, Pipe. Would have left the bullseye had he found the treble 17, but with Rasztovits on 258, he's got plenty of time on his hands here.
He's not really under a great deal of stress here, Justin Pipe. Michael will admit that he's not played his best darts today by any stretch.
Justin, you require 24.
Well,
no stress at all. He's on a double and Michael's not on a finish.
Yeah, he's averaging 83 and a bit at the moment, is Pipe. He's missed a fair few doubles as well, mainly in that leg where he ended up in the madhouse, but more than enough so far in the locker here. But he will return looking at double 12 once again. Rasztovits simply has to put the pressure on here, and once again he's not really doing that, is he? 46 off that, still leaves him with 152. Pipe back on double 12 for a 5-1 lead, inching closer to what would be a fairly rare second round appearance on the European Tour, given what he did last year.
Doesn't want to keep missing.
Ooh,
5 score.
That's made life very difficult indeed.
He was trying to find the bottom right corner of that double 12, and he risked it because he had a feeling that Michael Rasztovits was not going to get that 152, and he hasn't. So now 19, he'll go 3 double 8.
You require 19.
Spray just having a good look at that one just to make absolutely sure, but Rasztovits has been left with 65 here. Double eights once again, took it out in the last leg. Doesn't take it out this time around. Double 4.
11 score.
Double 4 has not been his friend today.
This is becoming a problem here. Tops for Rasztovits then for a very unlikely steal.
25.
Well, he probably couldn't believe that he had a chance.
Well,
Justin, you require
he was
8.
so adrift, wasn't he, on 200 and odd. And he just chipped away slowly but surely, got himself down into a position there, but Pipe now looking at double
Game
four.
shot in the sixth leg.
And
Justin Pipe.
well, if Justin Pipe does come through this match,
Seventh
he'll
leg,
know that he'll have
Michael
to
to throw
improve his
first.
finishing
Game on.
for any potential meeting with Ian White tomorrow. 5 from 25 now.
Every professional dart player's got a story about being about 300 in front in a leg, having a bucket load of darts at double and then hitting it when they have to. And that was one of those legs for Justin. He's missed loads at double 12, missed double 8, double 4, and finally getting double 4. He won't be happy with the performance, but he'll be happy that he's 5-1 up.
Yeah, the average has plummeted as a result of all that as well, down to about 76 at the moment.
134.
But he won't care about that. Like I say, he found it hard to win his first round matches on the European stage last year, but he's on course here for a victory to take him through. And that's pretty much what it's all about on day one.
You can't win the tournament on day one, but you can get into round 2. It's looking very likely that he's going to be there.
98.
You cannot assure yourself of that unless you hit the final double. Justin's been in many, many matches over the years, I'm sure, where he's been way in front, and people do come back at you.
98.
You've got to stay
Michael, you require
on point.
150.
Right now, Michael Rasztovits has the advantage in this leg.
60.
If Justin Pipe can get a 140 here, that will put massive pressure on that 90 for Michael. And that's the perfect first dart. Yes. Another one of those would be absolutely perfect. What timing! Rolex darts from Justin Pipe. Double 15 though. And beautifully done from Michael. What a response. And just when Pipe thinks he might be getting rid of the match, Michael Rasztovits is up to the challenge.
Well, all well and good putting yourself in position there, Justin Pipe, but unable to have a crack at that double 14 that would have wrapped up the match there and then.
93.
You want to get yourself in one of those situations where your opponent keeps creeping up on you. It's 5-3, then it's 5-4, and you start thinking he's just in your rearview mirror. You want to get rid of this leg on your throw and win 6-2 and be back in the hotel in an hour. Getting a nice early night, ready to play Ian White tomorrow. Ian White, who's fresh off another Pro Tour victory last Sunday in Milton Keynes, someone who'll be full of confidence. Perfect first start from Pipe. And that's all right there, leaving 176, because he can go 136 or 140. Even a straight ton would do at this point, because it looks like Michael Rasztovits may have given up the ghost.
The Leverkusen crowd with their first acknowledgement of the 16-time world champion.
57.
Won't be the last time this year that we hear that song. Phil Taylor was out in Japan last week and made the final of Super Darts at soft tip, was beaten by Haruki Muramatsu. Many congratulations to Haruki on probably the biggest win of his career.
58.
Well done to Phil for getting to the final, not easy.
Yeah.
119 for Pipe, and that leaves 62. He checks with the ref, 12 and Bull, but he's going to go treble 16, I think, yeah? Double 16 for the 6-2 win.
Oh, well, he had his problems with doubles today, but when it came to the final reckoning, Justin Pipe takes out a 119 checkout at the first time of asking on double 16. And Pipe advances to the second round. Managed that just once in 2017. At the first time of asking in 2018, he's done precisely that. Although Pipe will acknowledge there is perhaps not so much scope for the missed doubles tomorrow. 6 from 26 on his checkouts today, an average of just 82. I suspect that will have to improve for that meeting with Ian White tomorrow, but it's a case of mission accomplished here for Justin Pipe. He is through safely to the second round. Michael Rasztovits unable to come up with the necessary answers today. Never really got going. He was down from the word go, early break, never really recovered. And at 5-1, you felt that the writing was on the wall. Mike Langendorf and John Henderson on the way next in our final match of the afternoon session. Let's grab a quick word now with your latest winner, Justin Pipe, speaking to RMC. Elmar Polka.
Congratulations. At least at the end, it was a 119 finish. That was a good checkout.
Yeah, but I mean, Michael and I, we played in Wigan in the UK Open, and we had such a good game. I really thought that's what we were going to do here this afternoon. I think we both wanted to win, too bad. So tomorrow, just relax and throw darts. Thank you guys, you know, great support, and yeah. Come on, give it a shout, come on.
Bedankt sich bei euch. Einen kleinen Applaus hat sich verdient, oder? Just, yeah.
There was even a couple of coughs somewhere, somebody coughed.
Er hat so ein paar Husterer gehört, der Justin.